peeps? It's your girl, Dodge, come back to Toronto Takes. Well, you guys, it's again movie news time, and I'm looking forward to getting into quite a bit of stuff on this one. This one I have quite a bit to discuss now. Granted, last weekend took a little breather. I had a couple of things to go to, planned events, and sometimes you need to take a step back, regroup, enjoy some time, as they call it. Life happens, and I chose to do such. But now we're back. I'm ready to get back into it. Plus, since last weekend was a lot going on, I know D23Expo happened. And there's a couple of things with that I definitely want to get into and discuss that were highlights to me personally. So with that said, let's go ahead and just jump into it. And I have other things I will discuss as we move past that. So with that said, now the first thing, again, is D23Expo. I see a lot was going on, of course, dealing with DC and Marvel. Of course, hearing about the DC streaming services. I was excited about hearing about that. And then also a couple of movies that came up through Marvel, just some updates with certain ones that are coming out. Just getting some footage and things of that nature. So let me go ahead and just talk about the first one. First thing I'm going to talk about off the cuff is Star Wars. Now, of course, the cast showed up, to have, of course, like a little bit of a Q&A panel. And prior to that, early in the week, we were supposed to be getting what looks like to be a little bit of what they showed there, like a sizzle reel of sorts, but it was kind of considered a special look for us when we finally got a trailer that was actually dropped. Now, for that one, I really enjoyed it because they highlighted to me, iconic moments, and that made it just well worth seeing. And then towards the end, you all saw exactly what was happening. You got to see kind of what's going on, with what's happening with the actual cast. You got to see a scene where it shows CP3PO. His eyes were red. You saw a scene where it looks like a rain-drenched fight scene between Kylo Ren and Rey. You saw Finn with a girl named, I think, Jannah, which I look forward to seeing her introduced. Also, the Emperor being back. And then you see the one that is definitely the talk. And it had to do with Rey holding a double red lightsaber. And I literally was dumbfounded because I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need some answers. And that's exactly what I said in my reaction. So moving from that, I want to discuss the overall feelings I have. I'm excited in regards to that because let me just put up before I get into my little bit of a minor rant. They asked, Rey how she felt in regards to that particular scene when they showed her with that, because of course a lot of people in that particular panel discussion, the sounds, whatever, and all that, you can clearly tell. And this is what she says. She says, the evidence is in the screen. It's on the screen. And she says, take that evidence as you will. But there's no smoke without fire. Now, I love when they're very, subliminal in their messaging, whichever. Now, granted, I will say there's no way you're going to tell me that they're going to put that significant of a reveal within a special look trailer, not the last and final, I would think, official trailer, so to speak, because I think the one we got a couple months back was considered a teaser. Excuse me. So some people are saying they think it's just a dream sequence, whichever, being brought on by the Emperor, and that's possibly so. I know one person in my comment section was just like, he's down for it. He wants to see the dark side of Rey. I know for me, it can go either way. I really don't care. I want them just to evolve. And when I say that, now I'm going to what I really want to say is the fact that there's so much with these particular characters that we were finally introduced to. Rey, Finn, Poe, I want to see a little bit of movement in their character development. Now, I know with Rey, we were seeing some things. I know some people are like, where's her parents? What's going on? Could she be related to, Kylo Ren? What's going on there? These small little potential situations where they keep showing whatever, but never giving anything, and it kind of fizzles out. Same thing with Finn. Him getting into that, situation, I want to say, was it Phantasma? I think I might be getting the wrong name incorrectly. My apologies. Gwendolyn Christie was the one who was, in that particular scene when it was like a fight sequence, which was lackluster because it was so much potential I could have had with the showdown watching him do that. Plus him not liking that said character. Why is that? Did something happen in the past? I mean, even if we're getting a little bit of some flashbacks, it gives a little bit of understanding a little bit about that, because we don't know truly anything honestly about Finn ever since The Force Awakens. Same thing with Poe. Don't know anything about him really truthfully, whatever. Yeah, he's a part of the Resistance. Okay, that's about it. I want to see more. It's like you're giving us the nostalgia, of course, of Star Wars, and give us certain things. Of course, we got Mark Hamill. Always loved that, in the second, installment. But it was just like, it was just left with a lot of stuff, questions definitely not answered. I know we'll move this along, hopefully. So I'm hoping in this one, and I think this one's almost 3 hours, I'm hoping that is the case. Now with Ray, you want to know, I mean, where's her allegiance? If you're seeing this, is this a dream sequence? Is it not? We won't know until we see the movie, and I don't know if Abrams is up to some shady, serious, types of twists and turns he's trying to give us. I don't know, but it is what it is. But it has people talking, so they'll let you know when we get the next trailer. We'll see what's in that depending on how they edit and cut it. And then before you know it, December will be here and we'll be just like, okay, enough already. I'm ready for the actual movie. So I just want them to give us a little bit more about these particular characters. I want to see a little bit more. I'm looking forward to that. Now, speaking of the movie, I want to also talk about, in terms of Poe, there's another character that I'm glad we're getting a little bit more information about, and that has to do with the character being played by oh gosh, I'm about to lose my train of thought. Goodness, Carrie Russell, excuse me. She's playing a character called Zori Bliss. I'm actually excited about that one. And I knew she was coming on board, and this was back in 2017. And I'm just like, finally, we're getting a little something. She, of course, was there. And I'm going to note what she said when somebody asked her if she can give a little bit of information about her character. She goes on to say, as she describes her character, she says, as being rather shady, as well as being a criminal with a sense of humor. Not so vague, but vague enough now. And she's also considered friends with Poe. Now, right there, I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm glad we're getting, somebody from his past or whichever. Is she a part of the resistance? Also, I'm curious to know, besides, my being a part of resistance, was she probably maybe a past lover, or could she have been both? That is considered, that would be something actually intriguing about him, and to learn a little bit more about him. And of course, Poe, played by Oscar Isaac, excuse me. So I'm just, like I said, just down to see it. I'm happy to know something about said character now. For Carrie Russell, she's a great actress. If you don't know who she is, I mean, get on it. And if you're not, check out her show, The Americans. Even though it's finished the seasons, that's a good show. I highly recommend it. Yes, I'm totally down. I'm ready for December 20th to come. It will be here. Is right, of course, the week before Christmas. See how they did that. Yes, it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And like I stated, I'm loving what they're doing with Star Wars, and clearly with DC as well. With the fact that we got, what was it, the trailer for The Mandalorian, of course, starring Pedro Pascal. I'm looking forward to that. There's a couple other faces that showed up in that I'm very excited to see. And it's looking like I might most likely be doing a streaming service with them. So I'd already considered it because of the TV shows. That's a ways away. But I know the Mandalorian is coming out in November. So I'm going to have to go ahead and speed that process up a little sooner. So, but with that said, I just want to kind of jump in on Star Wars first and foremost. Now, the next thing I really want to discuss has to do with Black Widow. You already know how I feel. I've been excited for this. I'm loving it. We're getting a little bit more footage now. The cast could not be there, but they did sell a special screen of, like, kind of like a little message to the. And in that particular one, I think Scarlett Johansson was in it. Wearing what looked like to be one of her suits that she will be wearing. That was a full all white. Now they did give us some footage. Now some of that footage, I think they said they showed at Comic-Con. They might have added a little bit more. I'm going to read off a little bit of what was shown from that, from what they're stating, because this scene is going to be showing, of course, Natasha, aka Scarlett. We're going to see David Harbour, and we get to see Florence Pugh. Now, the way they set it up, it shows Scarlett, of course, riding on her motorcycle through the forest. It shows David Harbour then joins Natasha and Florence Pugh. Her character is called Yelena Belova. She's actually a follow agent through the Black Widow program. Now, for this, it says, they come across him. He looks a little disheveled, like as if he just got out of prison. He tells the other two in a Russian accent, family back together again, and then puts on his Red Guardian costume. Now that's the character he will be playing, Red Guardian. I'm excited about that. It says once reunited with the family, they are shown in action fighting a group of people. There's a little bit of banter, and it says the two women, as Yelena asks why Natasha always feels the need to pose. Then she does a fighting pose, and then she calls her a total poser. So a little bit of, a little funny there, a little, added, a little extra there, whichever. I'm excited for this because now we get a little bit know about David Harbour's character, which I'm actually glad, because when I've known he was coming on board, as well as Rachel Weisz, I was wondering in what capacity, what character would they be playing. Now for him, of course, we know now. Still don't know anything about Rachel Weisz. I really hope we found out something down the road with her, because it's like the secrecy is killing me, but then in some ways I'm glad, because we don't need to know everything about the movie. Save that, some of that for the actual movie when it comes out. Now for him, he definitely doesn't have superpowers, as well as with Natasha. Reading from what they're saying from the research I did, in the comics, they were considered married. Now, I don't know if we're going to get flashback where it showcases them as being married through Marvel. If Marvel decides to go there, that would be very interesting. Um, Also, he definitely has hard, was it combat type of training. He has a shield similar to Captain America. Basically, he's considered a Russia's Captain America, so to speak, whichever. So, definitely the prowess, tactical combat, all that good stuff. I'm so here to see that when he's doing his thing now. Granted, because with Dave Harbour being that he did what he needed to do to kind of get ready playing Hellboy. He did a couple part action sequences, so to see him, and this one's going to probably be a little bit more going on with him in those particular scenes, but I'm totally here for it, and I'm actually glad, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that all turns out. Now, I know we still don't know who's playing the villain Taskmaster, but I think they said they showed a little bit of footage of Natasha being, in a snowy environment with the white suit, getting into it with Taskmaster. So I'm just here for it. I really hope we find out who's playing Taskmaster. I really like to know. I'm really hyped to know that, especially learning about what this individual's abilities were in regards to, how he deals with his, adversaries or whichever. So I'm hyped. I'm ready. I'm excited. But yes, the movie comes out May 1st. I'm also looking forward to seeing with her character, because I think they said the way they're doing the time stamp for this happens before the first Avengers movie. So that kind of gives us an idea how this all supposed to pan out. And that's good, because I was wondering where exactly is this origin story? Where would this fall in line with all of the movies? So that's actually good. So I'm excited for that aspect. And like I said, location is Budapest for this. So yes, yeah, I'm totally ready for this. All right, Scarlett, she's waited. She's put in the work. It's about time. So, but moving from that. Now, another one I'm excited to hear about and see a little bit more is about the Eternals. Now, they, of course, were at Comic-Con. And this time around, Kevin Feige came out and he kind of discussed it a little bit more in regards to just showcasing what looks like to be a first look at the concept art for the characters that they're going to be playing, like a little bit of them showcasing them in what looks like to be their costumes or whatever they would be wearing, their actual suits. And let's just say it looked awesome. I was so feeling it. Now, the only thing I will say is that, three individuals were kind of missing. There was two other individuals that were listed up there when they were showing the concept art, but they were not there, and I'm going to go ahead and list them. Those two were Gemma Chan, she plays the character Cersei, and a gentleman by the name of Barry Keoghan, who plays Druid. Now, their parts were commissioned so you could see them, but they were not in attendance. The other cast members that we got to see and meet during Comic-Con were actually there. There's another character that was the third one that was not. It did not make the cut because this information was actually presented like a day before the actual D23, and that has to do with Kit Harington playing the character Dane Whitman, aka Black Knight. Now, I'm excited for his character, being he's coming off of Game of Thrones, all the hype for that, whatever the last season finale, series finale, excuse me. So to see that he's moving on to other things, I know he's done other movies in between when they're on hiatus, but to see that straight out of this, I hadn't seen him anything since the last season of Game of Thrones, came out. So to know that he's going to be a part of Marvel, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, I know his character is considered, the kind of like the nephew, as I put it on here, the nephew of the villainous Black Knight. And he eventually takes over the mantle so they can bring honor back to the legacy. Now, they're claiming from the research I did, learning about Black Knight, it states that Black Knight, Dane Whitman's, character is not an Eternal. So I'm curious about that aspect. Secondly, there's a large history being that the fact that he has, worked, with a group of superheroes, through Marvel before. And it says that was, of course, with the Avengers and also with the Defenders. So I don't know if he's going to have some sort of spinoff where we will see him in other type of Marvel movies with other heroes. That will be interesting. I'm here for it. That will be nice. I really wish we could see what he would have looked like. Oh my God, I'm so bummed. Hopefully, Kevin or something might put something up, whatever, and somebody will add it on, Instagram or Twitter, so I can get a real look of it. But if something leaks, which is kind of hard to do when they're doing a lot of those Marvel films, so we might not see anything for a while, but you never know. The movie comes out November 2020, so that means they didn't state exactly when they think they're going to wrap up. I know they are actually getting ready to start production. I think it's sometime, if not this month, next month or October. So it's about to start work. I know that Angelina, like she said during Comic-Con, she's already preparing. She's getting training. All of them are. You see Kamani, he's just the arms. He looks the beast. I'm just like, I'm here for it. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad to see the additional cast members added, but I am a little hyped for Kit Harington. I'm actually excited for the fact that he'll be back together with one of his castmates from GOT, and that's Richard Madden. So yes, I'm looking forward to it, you guys. It's going to look like it's going to be awesome. So moving from that, now another thing that came up when I was talking about D23 is the fact that you're talking about the streaming service. Now you already know when you talked about that during Comic-Con, we already know we're going to be getting, was it Loki, WandaVision, Winter Soldier, and Falcon, and then we're getting Hawkeye. Now it looks like we're going to get 3 more TV series that are going to be coming out. They look like they're going to be added to Phase 4. I thought these would be added to Phase 5, but it looks like no, they're going to make some room. And they're going to be listed as Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk. And I'm going to tell you, out of all 3 of them, I am so excited for She-Hulk. But I want to discuss Ms. Marvel real quick. Don't know too much about that one. I do know that it has a writer. The other 2 do not have writers. All 3 of them do not have a director. So it's just like I said, in the beginning stages. They're claiming that these will not come out until after Hawkeye has been introduced. Once they have put it out to streaming, whichever, then we'll start getting the other 3 added on after, which just don't know in what order. If it's going to be exactly like that, Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, or She-Hulk. But that is fine. Now I'm totally here to learn a little bit more about Ms. Marvel. I've been hearing about that one since I knew they were going to be making a Captain Marvel movie. I'm figuring she's inspired by Captain Marvel. I'm curious to see if we'll get an introduction to Captain Marvel, meeting her on her TV show. That would be nice if Brie Larson does, agree to do that, whichever Marvel wants her to do that. That would be interesting, because if that's the case, then that means there's a possibility we will see her in said movies down the road, and that would be nice. Also, with Moon Knight, don't know anything about that. They have no information for that for right now. I know with Ms. Marvel, let me at least note the writer who's attached to this. Her name is Bisha K. Ali. She actually worked on Weddings, the 4 Weddings and a Funeral movie that actually came out on Hulu. So I'm actually excited to see what she's going to bring to the table when she writes this particular up. But yes, that one. Now for She-Hulk, that's the one I'm very excited to see. I already have a couple of things which is going to get me to get the streaming service, but this is definitely one that's up at the top now for certain. Now, of course, the character, I know a little bit about Jennifer Walters. She actually is, the cousin to Bruce Banner. What happens is she's also a very a very well-known attorney, very well-established professional attorney. Supposedly, some incident happens where she is injured and severely hurt. She has to get a blood transfusion with Bruce Banner's blood, and of course, what happens from that. She ends up with the gamma ray, radiation situation, which causes her to take on some of the same, abilities as Bruce Banner when he's the Hulk. Now, the difference with hers is hers are more of a high intelligence, where she's able to have that intelligence, human intelligence, while she's in her She-Hulk form. Similar to how the Hulk is now, which he was in Avengers Endgame. So I'm actually looking forward to them doing this. I'm very hyped to see who is going to be cast. Now, granted, when they're in She-Hulk form, it might be a little different. I don't know, they're going to do some sort of CGI, whatever, with that to enhance the overall look of the person playing it. This is way out there right now, whatever. Like I said, this is in the beginning stages. Secondly, I'm excited because this might mean that we'll definitely get to see Mark Ruffalo definitely through the show. And this opens up the doors for the fact that we eventually might see her in some Marvel movies as well. That would be very nice. Tag team working with her cousin. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm excited. I hope sometime next year we will get more information about who's going to come aboard as a director for all, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing who will be cast. I'd heard some people throw some names. Somebody said J-Lo. I'm just like, that's not going to happen. Jennifer Lopez is not doing that. Sit that thought process down. Secondly, somebody said Rosario Dawson. I don't think so. Then somebody kind of threw out there Angie Harmon. The lawyer aspect I can see. I don't know if they would book her up. That would be interesting. I mean, I can see it. She's got the height. She's played an attorney in a past show, like Law and Order show. So yes, that's doable. I don't know. There's so many other potentials they can consider looking at. But it depends on somebody who wants to look the part of She-Hulk, whatever, and all that, or do something similar like they did to let's say what the Hulk, the Hulk show back in the day where it was like we had Lou Ferrigno. So I don't know. We'll have to see, and I was going to have to keep my eyes out on this, but this is definitely on my radar now, so I'm here for it. So with that said, you guys, I just want to kind of throw this out there real quick. So moving on from that, now the next thing I want to talk about, I'm excited, is of course we know we're going to be getting a Black Panther 2, and I'm excited because this one actually will fall into Phase 5. We saw what was going to be coming out for Phase 4, and that's fine. It's going to be a short Phase 4 as opposed to how it was in the last one's Phase 3. So that's actually good. Now, I'm looking forward to this because when Kevin Feige came out, of course, he brought out Ryan Coogler. We know he's come back to write and direct. I already told you all how I felt because I wanted to see the way they left it at the end. If you all saw the ending of the movie, how when T'Challa got into it with Killmonger, talking about him having all these, things in regards to, technology and all that, and not keeping it, not sharing it, how all the things, the possibilities of how much he can help, the world, whatever, and all that, and how he just wanted to keep everything hidden so his people would be okay. And understandable, but then I can see the side of Killmonger. But you see what happened where him and his sister were talking about the things they're going to do, the potential, whichever. So I want to see them evolve that, how that's going to go on with the technology, what Ryan Coogler's writing in regards to that, to see what we're going to get, because this movie comes out May 6, 2022. So we have a ways away. So the potential of what they're going to show in technology wise will be very nice, especially after what they showed us in the first one. I was literally mind blown. I saw that thing 3 times. I loved it. I loved it. So I'm here for it. I'm curious, of course, to see who will be considered the villain. We already know we're getting some of our, regular cast members coming back. Of course, Chadwick Boseman, Angela Bassett will probably be back, Winston Duke, Danae Gurrier, Lupita Nyong'o, Letitia Wright. I already said that Martin Freeman's coming back, so we're going to have a lot of the core cast. So I want to see who's going to be the villain. That will be nice. Rumors are spreading that might be Namor. Might be the villain. We'll have to see. And then I heard another rumor that supposedly Henry Golding was being considered for that. I saw the pictures of the character. That's a possibility. That will be interesting. I don't have no problem with that. The brother's already a hot commodity right now ever since Crazy Rich Asians, so I wouldn't be surprised. He's staying rather busy, just like a lot of other ones I talk about on here all the time. So keep my fingers crossed for that. A lot of people are like, oh, that's a long wait. I'm going to tell you like this. They did so well with the box office totals. No pressure, but pressure. They're going to have to make sure this one lives right up to it, whichever, because trust and believe me, it's always those individuals out there who love to hate on something. Oh, you see how I didn't do as well as the other one. People were acting the fool online, leaving bad reviews or whatever and all that, talking all the smack. It's just doing the utmost, of just foolery. So, yes, I am here to see them do what they need to do, make sure they have the proper locations, costume is going to be off on chain, the action sequence on par, a little bit more story like that. I know some people want a little bit more action. It was even killed for me, whichever, because I wanted them to give more of a storyline, whichever. There's only so much action you can do if you don't have some sort of plot. I need some plot, whichever. I'm not worried about the action. They're going to give us that. So with that, yes, I'm here for it. Take the time you need. It's not going to be any more than that. By then, it'll be great because when that first trailer comes out, I look forward to being blown away. So, but with that said, moving on. Now, this one, I'm excited for this. This has to do with an individual who's going to be coming back, which is in the end credit scene, and this has to do with Venom 2. Now, we heard who's going to be the cinematographer on this movie. I'm excited. This has to do with Robert Richardson. He actually was a cinematographer on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And he kind of let me know, yes, Woody Harrelson is going to be attached to this, and he's just excited about the fact that he's a part of it. Tom, and of course, also directed by Andy Serkis. I was hyped when I heard Andy Serkis doing it. I'm beyond happy about that. And definitely all excited about Woody Harrelson coming on. You all saw, like I said, the end credits. We saw the potential. Now, he recently was interviewed, I think, with some, major actual blog website, and I'm going to just note a little bit of what he said in his interview. He says when they were asking him about the prospect of working on Venom 2 and working with Woody Harrelson, he says, and in there he says, I would say yes anyway to Andy. He says, just because I would say yes, Andy, but also I think it's great. I think it's unexplored yet, and it's going to explode. And this film, I think, will help it explode because you have a remarkable central character with Venom. But now you've got Woody Harrelson, who's going to obviously make his own little entrance here. And we'll see what else comes in with the Sony Marvel collaboration. I look forward to it. It's a massive change for me, but I'm excited. I think Hardy is one of our best. And being that he's never dealt in regards to a comic aspect, that's probably something he wanted to do because it's not his area. He's used to doing work in, so that's going to give him a challenge, and I'm actually excited about that. And being that he's worked with a lot of different directors and done great work, whatever and all that, this is good. I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to him collaborating with Andy Serkis because that man, his creative juices and just everything about him just oozes creativity. He's just phenomenal, with his work. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to Woody Harrelson playing Carnage. I'm here for it. I know we still haven't got full confirmation from Woody per se, whatever, maybe a statement, whatever, but I mean, come on now. We knew Venom 2 was going to be happening. That's not it. So I'm looking forward to seeing, because I haven't seen anything as of lately from Tom Hardy to know what he's been working on. So I feel like they're going to start on this soon because they're claiming The word was that they were claiming that this is supposed to be coming out in October of next year. I said, okay, we have the director, we have cinematographer. Are they getting ready to start maybe sometime this October, November? They'll be finished by what, summer, and then they can definitely come out because with Sony, we have a Morbius coming out in July of next year. So I don't. I'm on. That's enough space in between. If they wanted to come out, that's fine. I love to have enough DC stuff coming out next year. That's awesome. You have some other stuff, whichever, well, Sony, excuse me. So I will have to see how that pans out with that. But yeah, I don't know about the date. The date's kind of funny, even though they're throwing out that. So we'll have to see. It depends on if I hear any news soon about when production starts, then it can be more believable. But the more and more I don't hear about it, and the more time it goes by, I'm going to be like, no, this is going to probably get pushed back a little further. So, but that's fine. If they do that, there's nothing wrong with it. I'd rather them take their time and do it right. The first one did very well. It made $850 million, but we still want them to do very well with the second installment, whichever. Don't slack. So, but with that said, moving on. Now, this one, I am not say excited, but I am looking forward to seeing this. This has to do, of course, with G.I. Joe again. Now, I'd already told y'all about a couple weeks ago how Henry Golden came on board to play Snake Eyes. Now we have somebody else being added to the cast, and this one makes it even more intriguing and exciting. His name is Andrew Koji. He's going to be playing Storm Shadow. Now I'm excited for this one because if you all remember, with that they were considered blood brothers, but due to the fact that Storm Shadow decided to go with the bad guys and work for Cobra, that caused the situation where they became, of course, enemies because, of course, Snake Eyes is with G.I. Joe, and then here he is going Cobra. So I want to see how they're going to write this storyline, how it leads up to that situation happening. Now, with Andrew Koji, of course, he is an actor, and he also does, a little stunt work, as a stunt performer on the side as well. So, and him playing, considered his character as Storm Shadow as a ninja. So I'm looking forward to those little action sequences. That's going to be off the chain. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I'm ready to see it. Hopefully I'll get some screenshots or something where it shows, something from the set that will be nice to see both of them in set, costuming, whichever, of course, it faces the cover. So, but I just want to see something. So that will be nice. But yeah, just a little bit of an update. Another person added to the cast. You already know they're doing a couple of these little standalones with some of the Hasbro type of merchandise with some of the particular characters. So we'll see how this one does if they're planning to continue. So this is going to be definitely a deciding factor of, depending on how it does at the box office when this does come out, to let them know if they can go ahead and move forward and continue making more of them. Now this one's supposed to come out March 27th, 2020. So again, that's not too far off. So that's probably why we're getting a little bit more information now about other characters being added on, whatever, so they can probably start production. I don't have it listed showing when production actually officially starts, but I'm assuming sometime going into the fall. If this is coming out in March, that means they're probably starting very soon. Might be next month, I'm hoping, because if this is March, that means by January we should be getting a trailer. So, but with that said, just wanted to kind of throw it out there. So moving on from that, now this one is one I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, and definitely talking. We are getting more updates about Mortal Kombat. Now, I'd already told you about quite a few characters that had already been added, and I kind of went through the names. We got 3 new ones, so I'm just going to go down the list of these names of who's been attached to, because it seems like it's lengthy. Now, before that, of course, you remember I said it's executive produced by James Wan, and the actual person writing this is Greg Russo. I am here for it. And he says when he's writing this, he's going to make sure when they do this, it's going to be considered game accurate with the fatalities. Let me repeat that. This will be game accurate in regards to the fatalities. And I know that is very keen on some people wanting to see this. Now, granted, James Wan's attached to us. He's dealt with many things back in the day that have been bloody. So we know he has it in him to make sure this is done correctly. And I'm here for it. So let's get into it. Let me roll these names out. The first one is Ludi Lin, who's going to be playing Liu Kang. We have Tada Nobu Asano, who's playing Raiden. Then we have Makad Brooks, who's playing Jax. We have Cece Stringer, who's playing Melina. Then we have Joe Taslim, he's playing Sub-Zero, yes. Then the new one's coming on is Jessica McNamee, she's playing Sonya Blade, yes. Then we have another one, and let me do his name justice, Hiroyuki Sanada, who's going to be playing Hanzo Hasashi, aka Scorpion, yes, there. And then we have, of course, was a Chen Han, who plays Shang Tsung. Then we have a Josh Lawson, who plays Kano. And then one of them that does not have a distinction of who he's playing, but it's going to be in this, is Louis Tan. We don't have an information as to who his portrayal will be for. I don't understand that, but that's okay. He is listed as another person who's a part of the cast. So yes, this thing is filled. That's 10 cast members have been added. I am here for it. It looks like it's going to be bomb. This casting is awesome. So I am beyond hype. I did say the last time when I was talking to you all, I had watched them. I've seen the game. When I used to watch sometimes, like a couple years back when I watched a little bit of the Fatales when they were coming out, I would get into it, stomach starts okay, but then all of a sudden it kicks in when I watch more than like 20, 25 minutes, like, okay, I need to turn this off. This is getting nauseous now. See, that's nothing because that's the game. And even though it's like, oh, wow, can you imagine during the theater when you're watching a movie and seeing this up close and it's looking like it's, like the human body at that moment, like we're watching from the movie as opposed to a video game? It's going to be a totally different thing. I don't care what my friend says. T, I'm not eating anything while I'm watching this. I will have just a drink, and I will just have something to chew on, munch on. It will be some gum, mints, or Starburst, something like that. That's what's going to be going on, whatever. Because I don't want to see something with somebody's, spine ripped out, whatever, and all that, and a couple of eyeballs, whatever, and all that. I don't throw up that easily, but I said after watching enough of them, I might have to turn for a second to get my bearings. But I'm just putting it like that. Yeah, I might be saying too much, but I'm being honest. Can you imagine the trailer? I mean, they can't give off too many of the best parts of the fatalities within the trailer. So I want to know what kind of trailer they're going to show, but that's okay. That is all right. That's what we're here for. We want to see it. They won't show really, really good ones. Just give us just a taste that'll have the people who follow and watch the games, who play the games, really wanting more and just ready, because that means you can get them all into the theater. So, but with that said, moving on, you guys. Now, this one I'm curious about, and this has to do with upcoming movie through Michael Bay. Now, haven't seen anything as of lately. I know the last movie I saw that he actually directed was Transformers the last night. And let's just say that I really didn't like it so much. There's some other movies in the past that Michael Bay has done that I love. Of course, Bad Boys 1 and 2, love that. You got like movies like Armageddon, things of that nature, whichever. And of course, he took a little break from Transformers and did some other stuff, whichever. And of course, that was the last one he did in 2017. So I'm kind of glad he's not going back to Transformers. He's done his thing, whichever. Out of all of them, the one I like the most from him is the first one. I'm going to be honest, that's my favorite one out of all of them. So needless to say, this movie is supposed to be titled Black 5. This is going to bring him back to work again with Sony. Now, they're not giving us any information. This is only in the beginning stages, but I'm actually excited. This is going to be very induced, action-packed. That's why I'm using the picture you all will see in the backdrop, because he's explosive savvy when he's doing all his stuff. Everything's exploding everywhere. So I wanted to use that particular photo as a backdrop. So I'm just really looking forward to this. I want to know who will probably be most likely cast. The writers on this are listed as they're from the Deadpool 1 and 2. This is writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. So I feel a little confident with the writing. Whoever's going to write the script with it and all that, it's just a matter of how Michael Bay is going to give us the overall look and the portrayal of it, off of paper. So that will be the thing. And also, who is cast? Once I see who's cast, that will happen. And plus, knowing what the actual plot is. I have no information about the plot. This, like I said, is definitely new information. When I know more about this one, I definitely want to know, because I do enjoy quite a bit of Michael Bay stuff, and I like to see something new from him that's totally different than what I'm used to seeing. And it's definitely action-packed. I'm here for it. So I will keep you all abreast to this particular one, because I definitely want to keep my eyes out on this particular new movie under his helm. So, but with that said, moving on. Now, this one I'm excited for because this has to do with Suicide Squad. Of course, the second installment. This one, of course, directed by James Gunn. I'm excited. We're getting news because I told you all a couple months back about some other characters that are being added. We are, of course, going to see Margot Robbie, Viola Davis, Jay Courtney, Joel Kinnaman. They're coming back. I'd already discussed Idris Elba, who's going to be playing, which is rumored, Bronze Tiger. Storm Reed will play his daughter. And then I was telling you all about some other characters, of course, one being the Polka Dot Man, the Ratcatcher, and then possibly King Shark. Now, King Shark is the one that I definitely want to discuss, for the simple fact that they're talking about supposedly Michael Rooker might be doing it, but he shot that thing down. He's not a part of this at all. Now we know who's going to be voicing the Finn villain. His name is Steve Agee. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring to the table as the voice. He's a comedian. He actually has worked on, it was called, the Sarah Silverman program. He's done the show, You're the Worst. And also he did a show that I've actually watched called Superstore. So I'm here to see what he's going to bring to the table when I hear the voice, whatever. That's going to be interesting. But I'm looking forward to all these new characters. I'm excited about that. I'm really looking forward to it. I saw the pictures and all that, of course, posted up. So I'm really excited to see, I wonder how far in they are on the movie per se. Definitely going to have to keep my eyes open. Hopefully, we might see some of these other characters, like we saw a little bit of, like, say, for instance, with Birds of Prey, some scenes from the set. I would like to see some scenes from the set for, like, the Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher as well. And I'd like to see what Idris Elba's doing. I'm assuming he's probably working on it now. So hopefully we'll get something. If not, that means they're definitely keeping the set stuff tight-lipped or whichever. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every now and then I want just a little taste, but I'm patient. I can wait. It's not going. The world ain't going to end. So this movie comes out August 6th, 2021. So we have a ways away to make sure everything is just looking perfectly good with this entire movie, especially with the CGI, all this stuff, the action, everything. I want this thing to be great. The first one I actually enjoyed it. So I'm just lucky we get to see some of the original characters and get to introduce some new characters. So, but with that said, you guys. So moving on from that. Now this one, I at first was kind of a little bit, taken aback because I was surprised to hear when this had to do with Saw. Now, this has to do with considered some sort of a reboot of sorts. And this is going to be, of course, Chris Rock attached to the helm of this. He's, of course, in the movie. And then just knowing that he is wanting to do a horror movie. When I said this before, I was just like, really? Because I'll be honest with you, if I'm just, being a little naive and thinking mostly of him always doing comedy, definitely doing some drama, and of course doing his little comedy special and all that and everything, never thinking ever I would see him attached to anything that's considered horror. So this is refreshing for me to see him in a totally different light, and that's actually good. So, but yes, and then knowing, that is being executive produced by Leigh Whannell and James Wan. That's a nice little bonus. Now, let me kind of give you all a little bit of synopsis about this actual movie. It says, and also the title for this is not going to be considered Saw, which is a good thing because a lot of people probably would have been kind of, lukewarm to even considering or, considering to even watch this. This is going to be called, tentatively titled, The Organ Donor. That title, I have no problem with that, whichever. So moving on from that, it says, the organ donor will follow Chris Rock's character, which is called Zeke, as he investigates a series of murders reminiscent of the crimes perpetuated by Jigsaw. So I'm looking for that. Now, Samuel L. Jackson, I told you all he is actually cast. He plays his father. Then also it says, and I'm going to go through the other particular cast members. I'm going to put a picture of some up in here. It says the cast includes a guy by the name of Max Minghella. He plays Zeke's partner, William. Then we're going to also have Zeke's brother, Charlie, who's played by Frank Licari. And then we also have the Captain Garcia, who's played by Zeke's boss. Her name is Marisol Nichols. So that is the main cast in that. We might have some other little individuals who will probably be in that, but this is the core cast. Now, a lot of people probably get a little bit hyped knowing Chris Rock's in it. Of course, Samuel L. Jackson being in this, whichever. I'm familiar with Marisol Nichols as well. I think she's on the show Riverdale. So, yes, I'm looking forward to seeing the trailer. Filming has now wrapped. So we're at the ending of this. Now, this comes out May 15th of next year. So that means by the end of the year, December or January, we should be getting a teaser trailer at the most. I can say it now. It's like you also wanted to say trailer, but we get the teasers before we get the official. So we'll probably get a teaser trailer for this, and that's fine. I'm looking forward to this. This comes out in May, the birthday month, so there's a lot coming out next May. My God. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. I want to see him playing the cop. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen him play it. No, I don't think he's ever played a cop in anything. So that's gonna be real interesting because he's gonna be playing a really serious role. This is no comedic timing. I don't really want to think maybe a comment here and there from him, and it's Samuel Jackson playing the father maybe, but I feel like this is more of the a darker tone, more of definitely a serious tone. So yeah, but I'm here for it. So like I said, once I see that trailer, we'll know what we're working with, and I can see the potential of what this is going to be. So, and being that the two executive producers, that gives me a little, hope that it'll look really good. So, but moving on from that. Now, this is something I talked about a while back, and it's been off and on. It's just like finally we're getting some headway with this, and this has to do with The Flash. Now, this is one I talked about to the point where I'm just like, are they going to make it or not? What the heck is really going on? Come to find out, they're going to make it. Ezra Miller is still going to play Barry, but now we have a director, and the director is going to be, and wait for it, it is Andy Muschietti. The same Andy Muschietti who's actually out doing press for It Chapter 2 as we speak. I am happy to see that he's on board. He did say recently that the next movie he would take on, he wanted to be something that's nothing to do with horror. So there you go. prayers answered. So I know he had been elusive when people had been asking him before, and I feel like the reason why he couldn't say yes, he was attached, is because it's business. If they're in the midst of discussing and he wants to see the potential of who he's going to be, who's writing it, who is going to be in it, what does the storyline look like, to consider this, what he thinks he can bring to the table, and then also signing on contracts, whatever, negotiation, whatever, and all that. They just can't just say, oh yeah, I'm attached to, especially if you haven't signed on anything. It's like, oh, I got to take it back and extract a comment or a statement. So now he can say he recently said that when he was at press, of course, rumors, and he could put those rumors to rest. He is actually going to be the director. Now, they did say in regards to the writing aspect, Ezra had at one time wrote a script. Now, I discussed that before, but, WB wasn't having that. Let's just be real. So it looks like a woman by the name of Christina Hodson. She actually wrote on Birds of Prey. She also did Bumblebee, and then one of them that I'm looking forward to when we start getting more information is Batgirl. So, yes, I'm excited for this one. Now, that lets me know that it's going to be in capable hands, definitely with the script, definitely in capable hands now with the director. Now, only thing I'm going to want them to do is make sure when he's doing his speed, his arms are not all over the place, like, he's just having a straight up tantrum. Because that was one of the things that me and a colleague of mine, when we were talking about him in Justice League, was like, what the hell was going on with his speed, with his arms like that? Like, if you saw the Barry from the show on CW, the way he runs, that's what I'm talking about. Now, what he was doing, I don't know what the hell that was. But other than that, I love the character played by Ezra Miller. He is hilarious. Occasionally a scene stealer in the Justice League movie and all that. So the potential is there. So just need them to just get it right. Get this straight. Let's move this along, and let's just make this baby happen. So I'm ready for them to do this. Now we just got to figure out where is it going to fall in line with the other movies they're trying to put out through DCEU. Now that we now have the director, now we can kind of move to the next step of who else will be cast and see, what's going to, transpire, whichever. They don't say, because I don't have anything noted for it in regards to my notes that I said about when. Now that this part has been filled, I feel like next couple of weeks, maybe another month or so, we'll start getting a little bit of information, whichever. They might start with doing this maybe early next year. I don't think it's going to come out definitely next year. I feel like a 2021 is what I see on the horizon for this one. And I'm hoping that is the case. So that will be good. But I'm happy because now this is something else they can add to the DCU that can come out, whichever, and all that. And let them build up, their movies and all that, and build up a little bit more fan favor for them as well. So, but with that said, moving on. Now, this one, definitely am interested in this one. I talked about this one well over 6 months ago. This has to do with a movie called Infinite. And this is the movie, originally, of course, director is going to be Antoine Fuqua, and then it was supposed to be starring Chris Evans, but he had to step away, I think, conflicts with scheduling, whatever. Now, Mark Wahlberg will be taking over his character. Now, for that, this one will be very interesting for the simple fact that we have another new cast member who's been added, and that is Dylan O'Brien. Now, I'm a fan of Dylan O'Brien. I saw him when he was on Teen Wolf. I watched the show. It was just something about the way he carried himself. He was a straight up scene stealer when he was doing his roles. So from there, I was, following some of his work. Of course, when he did the Maze Runner, trilogy, and then of course when he did American Assassin, loved him in that. And then of course recently the TV show Weird City. So I'm excited to see him in this. Let's just go ahead and through a little bit of the synopsis so I can give you kind of a feel of what this is about. It says it's a science fiction fantasy that follows a group of nearly immortal women and men with the ability to reincarnate. It says this group has lived for centuries, known as the Infinite. They soon find themselves having to rely on a man that suffers from schizophrenia in order to defeat an evil mastermind. The man played by Wahlberg has motives of his own. He's seeking to join ranks of this powerful group. Now, that sounds really, really interesting. Now, I love the way that sounds in regards to the overall storyline. The potential is there. Now, they do state in this from the notes I wrote that right now they're being very secretive about what character Dylan O'Brien is playing. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love when you have a little bit of stuff that's, held back, which you don't have to give me everything. But the plot overall says enough and tells us enough that it sounds like it's going to be a really good movie. Now, like I said, director Antoine Fuqua is known for putting on some good movies, of course, being a part of The Equalizer, Training Day, just to name a few. So I feel like this is going to be a very good movie. Of course, him, working with Mark Wahlberg and Dylan O'Brien is going to be great. I'll be honest with you, I really was looking forward to him working with Chris Evans. I want to see the potential of that because I know Chris is trying to do a little bit of everything. He has a movie coming out in November, and he has another movie, I cannot remember the title, my apologies, it's something coming out on Netflix. So he's definitely been doing a couple of things, to stay busy, whichever. And then just kind of, not to say he's pigeonholed, but when you've been doing Captain America for so long, whatever and all that, you don't want people to just think that's all you can do. us adults kind of know that. Little kids, not so much. So I love that he's going to be out there and doing some other stuff. And I get to finally see him in some other stuff, whichever, I will always enjoy him as Captain America. He did a fantastic job playing that character. And I think he loves it so much and he respects that because it was a very good character, more compass and all. So nothing to feel bad about when people come up to you. So, but with this, yes, I'm looking forward to this. In regards to this, they're stating that they're supposed to start production rather soon. I don't know if it's sometime this next month or October. This is slated for a possible August 2020 release. Again, a lot of stuff coming out next month, and a lot of stuff coming out around the summertime, blockbuster time. So I'm curious to see who else will be cast. We already have our director, so that part right there is taken care of. The actors, the main lead, looks like it's going to be a good one. I feel like we have a hit on our hands. I'm here for it. So I'm looking forward to this one. So yes. That's going to be a nice one. I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm a fan of Mark Wahlberg and a lot of his movies, so I'm here for it. So, but with that said, moving on. Now, this one, all encompass horror. This has to do with Halloween. I'm excited. I saw the Halloween when it came out last year. Loved seeing Jamie Lee Curtis playing Laurie Strode again. We got to see, of course, the way they did the movie now, we were to think the other ones did not happen. So that led it to be where the original first one, and then this is considered the second one. So from here, what's happening now is that we're going to be seeing Jamie come back to do 2 movies back to back. One's going to be called Halloween Kills, and the next one will be considered Halloween Ends. And I think this will probably be the last and the final ones of this all, whichever. I think that's what they're trying to do, and I'm here for it. I like the way they're just going to just line it all up, whichever. I know in this last one, we got to see 3 generations of the Strodes, of course, Laurie, her daughter, and her granddaughter. And then seeing what happened, you all saw how we thought, that Michael was killed at the end. Of course, she, basically trapped him in a bottle where, of course, the explosion with the fire, we never really saw him get out, so we don't know. So I'm curious to see how the storyline is going to showcase from what happened towards the end of the movie, as it went off, and how it's going to start up at the beginning for the next one. We do know that some people are being added to the cast. And I have the names listed. I want to note down one of them. One being played by Cal Richards. She actually played back in 1978, and that was the character. What is her name? Lindsay Wallace. I couldn't remember the last name. Thank God for notes. So from that, and I'm excited for that. She's coming back. She actually went to the actual premiere last year. There were some pictures floating of her being there, so that was actually nice of her to see Jamie Lee Curtis and all that. Just a little bit of a reminiscing. I wonder if they were, talking about the potential of her doing another one. Her might being, coming back, whatever. I wonder if that came up when they were talking, because I know the director wanted Jamie to come back. Makes you wonder. When they do interviews, we'll probably know exactly how she came to be, asked to come on board. Now for another character, which was played Tommy, was it Tommy Doyle, excuse me, I was trying to remember the last name, my apologies with that, will be played by Anthony Michael Hall. Total fan of him. The previous person that played was Brandon Andrews, and then I remember the one that was played for Halloween 6, that was Paul Rudd. A lot of people were surprised. They thought Paul Rudd would come back, but they were like, no, he's actually doing some other stuff, so he's not going to be able to do this, whichever. Hey, it is what it is. The brother's busy. He's actually a part of Ghostbusters, so it's like, there you go. He's doing something. He's a part of another, massive, movie franchise type of thing. So, hey, I can't be mad at that because I'm looking forward to that too. So I'm excited for these 2 individuals who are being attached. I don't know if there's anybody else coming, on board, but as, more information comes out, you already know I'm here for it. Now, let me note the dates. We have Halloween Kills, which is supposed to come out October 16, 2020. And then we have Halloween Ends, which comes out October 15th, 2021. So like I stated, you guys, they're doing these, I think, back to back. And then that'll probably be it. I think Jamie Lee Curtis will probably be like, okay, I have done my part. This is it. You got me for these last 2 movies. Here we go. So I'm excited for her, to see her again. She was a total badass in the last one that came out last year. I'm here to see her do her thing yet again. I've been a fan of her for years. So yes, this is nothing new. I think she is just awesome. I'd love to meet her. So, but yes, I just want to kind of come on here and talk about the good old Halloween real quick. I'm looking forward to that. Now, this movie, this has to do with a particular director. His name is Edgar Wright. He's working on a movie that came on my radar, I want to say earlier in the year. It's called The Last Night in Soho. I'm excited for the simple fact there's certain particular individuals who are in it. Matt Smith and Anya Taylor-Joy, excuse me. Don't want to mess up her name. She, The Witch, Split, just to name a few. And she is a great actress. I really wish they would give us a little bit about the plot Edgar doesn't want to really discuss it, but he did use two movies to compare it to, and those two is one of them is called Repulsion, which came out in the mid '60s. I think that's a Roman Polanski film, and then the other one, Nicholas Roeg's movie called Don't Look Now, which came out in the '70s. Now, I'm curious because I don't know if this has to do with just the visual inspiration of it all, whatever. I just don't know in one instance exactly what it is about both these movies that makes him use them as a comparison. But see, it's probably his way of being elusive in some ways and not giving away too much. But it's like you're still not saying anything, but you'd have to watch the movie to really grasp. But then it's just two movies. I can see if it was one. I want to feel like this might be some sort of psychological thriller of sorts or suspense thriller of sorts because I'm going to post up here what looks like to be some sort of picture. I think this is from Twitter, and it shows what looks like to be Anya Taylor-Joy. She's in some type of black outfit, and she has black makeup around her eyes, and she's looking towards something that looks like it's shocking her, like she's literally shocked. Her hands close to her mouth, and that scene looks so intense. Now they've already finished filming. They finally wrapped up. So I feel like we'll be hearing a little bit more shortly about the movie. This movie, from what they're stating, we don't have the actual date. They're saying this supposedly is supposed to come out in fall of 2020. That might be like maybe September, October. I really hope that we get something by, say, January of sorts. That would be nice. I will keep my fingers crossed. That would make me very happy. Secondly, not sure who else will be cast. We'll see. Those are two main ones that I knew were in it from the beginning. I figure it's probably some more people in this, and I'm hoping it is. That would be nice as well. I really want to know more about the plot because that picture that was posted looks hella scary. I'm dying to know what she's looking at, what is really going on, but that's just enough intrigue in me that makes me want more, and that is sometimes all you need to get somebody to really be hyped and a little bit, wanting to know about the movie and all that said to go see said movie. So, but yes, that's all I wanted to bring to that. So like I said, when I know a little bit more about that one, you all want to know more. Now, the last and final one, and this one is one that I'm so excited about because this has to do with the Invisible Man. Now, this is one that I've been waiting for them to give us a real full-fledged storyline, a plot, so we can have a better understanding of the movie. This is being directed by Leigh Whannell. You already know he's been attached to Saw, Insidious. He was a part of Aquaman. He also directed Upgrade. So I feel like this movie, of course, was in capable hands, and it sure as heck was. Now, with the casting, I'm going to post up the pictures of so you can see all the casting for this particular movie. Of course, you have, what is his name? Oliver Jacob Cohen. He's playing Leroy, of course, the gentleman, the Invisible Man. We have, of course, Elizabeth Moss. We also have Aldous Hodge, and we have Storm Reed. These are the main focal characters. There's another character in here. I want to know her name is Cecilia. That's not Cecilia. I'm sorry. Their name is on here listed as Harriet Dyer. She's within the cast as well. I just want to note that. So when I tell you the overall synopsis, I don't want to forget a name. Now, let me just go into that so we can read it so you all can kind of get an understanding of exactly what the Invisible Man is going to be about. It says from the beginning, it says, what you can't see can hurt you. Elizabeth Moss stars in a terrifying modern tale obsession inspired by, of course, Universal's classic monster characters, you remember. So it goes into, it says, trapped in a violent, controlling relationship with a wealthy and brilliant scientist, Cecilia Cass, which is played by Moss, she escapes into the dead of night and disappears into hiding, aided by her sister, Harriet Dyer, and then also her childhood friend Aldous Hodge and his teenage daughter Storm Reed's character. Then it says, but when Cecilia's abusive ex, played by Oliver Jackson Cohen, it says he commits suicide and leaves her a generous portion of his vast fortune, Cecilia suspects that his death was a hoax, as a series of eerie coincidences turned lethal, threatening the lives of those she loves. Cecilia's sanity begins to unravel as she desperately tries to prove that she's being hunted by someone nobody can see. That right there was enough for me. I am beyond hyped to see this movie. I cannot wait to see it. I remember the black and white one. I am ready now. Granted, when we talk about these, when Universal's, horror classics, remember we were hearing about Dark Universe being created. They, of course, made the movie called Dracula, The Untold Story, which was starring with Luke Evans. And then that one didn't really pan out. Then we had The Mummy with Tom Cruise. the potential was there and all that, but I feel like they kind of soured the movie because they kept showing all the trailers with all the good scenes, whichever, and all that. The possibility of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, starring Russell Crowe, because his character did make an appearance in The Mummy, but then when The Mummy didn't do well, they basically canceled that out, whatever. So basically, some of these movies might be standalones. This particular one is, and that's why I got moved to Blumhouse. Now, I really hope we get the other ones. Like I said, if they really decide to do another retake on The Mummy, the Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, maybe another Wolfman, The Creature of the Black Lagoon. These are the ones I want to see. I would love to see these. That would be nice. So we'll see. The possibilities are endless, depending on how this one does. And it should do real. This is not a big budget. When Blumhouse did stuff for it, Leigh Whannell made it abundantly clear he wanted a smaller type of budget to do this movie. So that's not going to be. We're going to really see a really good, intense suspense type of psychological thriller of sorts. And I'm looking forward to it. And I feel like with the movies he's done in the past, he's going to nail this perfectly. So I'm excited to go from Upgrade to this, different in contrast with the movie, but there's nothing wrong with that. I'm here for it. So this comes out February 28th. That is truly around the corner. Before you know it, December will be here. I feel like we'll probably most likely get a trailer, maybe, because we normally get the trailers like almost 3 months before the movie comes out. So I want to say probably November. We might get something, probably November around the holidays. That would be nice. So I'm going to keep my eyes open because I'm most definitely looking forward to doing a reaction to this one. That is definitely going to be one I'm looking forward to. So when you all see it come up, you see my smile on my face, dimples will be on display. I can't even say it enough. So that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed some of this movie news. Comment below with any of them. Just let me know how you feel. Put it in there. Let me know. Rat on all you want. I'm here for it so I can chatter with you all back and forth. So, but with that said, hope you guys enjoy the movie news. I will see you in the next one. You guys take care.